Welcome to a very special Entertainment Roundup news. This was not planned. This is not a planned recording. Actually, I was even debating whether I should even say anything at all. But the news shook me so much that I felt I needed to give my own quick thoughts, prayers, and utter shock to what has happened within the last 12 to 14 hours. And As you guys probably already heard, it's pretty much slowly filtering down throughout most of the sports airwaves and news. Instagram had posted many pictures of him and his daughter. Kobe Bryant have died tragically in a helicopter crash in California. He was 41 years old, retired for now almost, I think, about half a decade now. And need to say, it shook me um, to the point where I still could not believe, even after I have turned the news and saw the special reports that was being poured out there for him, and the news, and of course the sheriff of the fire departments had made some inquiries, and seeing what made my stomach turn, some of the pictures of the fire from upside view. I'm still in utter shock. According to the reports, his daughter was with him, 13 years old. She also was among, I believe, six people who perished in the helicopter, including the pilot. The details of what has happened hasn't been fully been revealed, and I'm not expecting any major official announcement until the police do their investigation. But needless to say, the effects of his death has sprung all over the NBA. I saw the interview with Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a former Knick, now a Clippers coach, and he was just he couldn't even speak. He was very, very torn, very, very emotional, as well as other people who have made announcements, including some of the people from the Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets. There are reports coming out right now, and even some of the fans who came out saying thank you, Kobe, at the Staples Center, the place where he had been home for pretty much most of his career, won multiple championships throughout his career there. Has really became the staple of Laker basketball throughout his career. And to hear this, it really, really shocked me. I found out honestly because I didn't really been on YouTube as late. I've been, tending to some very matters, family matters, nothing personal, nothing seriously, but it was something that I felt I needed to deal with. And again, I was going to be in a pre-recording, done tons of recording of the Star Wars thing, and I was in the mix of cooking dinner. I was actually almost completed cooking dinner. My wife did some errands herself. She came in, and the first thing she have said, "Did you hear the news?" And I didn't know what was going on. I thought something happened around the neighborhood, and she told me that Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash. And I was like, "Is this serious?" And she said that a friend of hers, who was a reverend, was keeping on the news, and I just couldn't believe it. And the only reason why it took me a while, because again, I wasn't in the loop of hearing news. I turned everything off. I didn't want to hear anything about what went on in politics. And so when she told me, the first thing I did was type Kobe Bryant's name. And the moment I typed it in, Wikipedia came up. And Wikipedia had hit down his day of his life when he was born and the day that he died. And I knew that this was more serious. And then other news started filtering out. I went to YouTube because I know ABC and NBC would have constant live coverage. I have gotten that, and needless to say, it was pretty much top coverage from there, and I just stood there watching, and it wasn't more of the reporters talking, it was more of the people who was involved of the search and rescue team, and they said they had a party that was going by foot. By the time they came to it, it was already too late. They've already had perished in the fire, and it was just to me, it was just very, very sad to hear this. Very, very sad to hear his name. It was a shocker. There's no other way to put it. He died, according to the report. This was his private helicopter, something that he was going to try. Him and his daughter's going to go to the game and watch the game personally. So that was one of the things. It wasn't like he had gone into a commercial or pretty much something that you and me were going. This was his own helicopter, and something obviously went wrong, and as a result, we've seen this horrific accident. According to some reports, there were reports of something happening as the crash went down. And according to the other reports that I've seen, they immediately swift into action. Again, there are footage of the wreckage from a top viewpoint. I just can't watch it. It's just it really just like turning and again, the words of hearing about his passing is undescribable. Again, he was the rival of the Knicks, so there's a lot of other players back then. You may not like his politics behind his basketball play and how he controlled. Of course, there was other stuff that has that had hampered his NBA career to an extent, but there's no denying of how important he was to his team, how important he was in terms of the Lakers' legacy. He is a Hall of Fame legend. There's no denying that, and he's definitely going to be missed. According to Doc Rivers, when he was able to talk, and trust me when I say it again, if you look at YouTube, it's there. He can barely get out of work. It was just so much emotion and so much pain, just trying to get the words out about how he had so much to give and how much he was just about to fulfill these things he wanted to fulfill, and to hear this is just was devastating. That was the most devastating interview I have ever seen someone have to conduct. I thought they was going to cut away from him after a while, not because of what he was saying, but because he was just so choked up with emotion. He was crying. He was definitely hurt, and he able to get the force he was getting out, but it was very, very difficult. It was very difficult for me to see him crying, and it was just like, wow, this is gonna be crazy. I don't know what the NBA is gonna do. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure that his team, like most teams that great legends have played, is gonna remember him and probably do something. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard that they actually have going to be wearing his uniform or number behind their shoulder pads. I don't know what the Commissioner Silver is going to do. I'm pretty sure they're going to recognize it. I know ESPN has been covering it intensely. There's also other sports venues. I know I've seen other fellow YouTubers, mostly fans of the Lakers, having chiming in on the death of the passing of their legendary player. And this is pretty much going to be like this. This is going to shock. This is going to be headline news for a while. And one thing we're definitely going to be hearing as the days and the weeks go in is what caused the accident, because there's going to be a lot of people demanding that they did get an investigation. I'm only assuming that they will recover the wreckage and the black box and everything else. Hopefully they will do that. But for the time being, all I got to say is to everybody, my condolences go out to their families and everyone who was infected. This is a devastating, including his wife. The fact that she lost a daughter and her husband in this crash is something I cannot imagine what she's going through at this point. So again, my hearts and prayers goes to everyone who's affected by this. Like I said, thank you, Kobe. It's the word I can't even describe. But like I said before, his legacy is going to live on, and there are people out there, and rightfully so, who's going to remember this man for all the great accomplishments he has done while he was playing in the NBA. That's all I'm going to say about this. This is not the normal thing. Like I said, I had to pre-record it, but I felt this is the best to get this out first, because this is it's heartbreaking. It really is, and I hope that the investigation is going to be, they're going to take their time with it. They're not going to rush it due to people screaming for what's going on. I feel that they need to do this right, and hopefully make measures so that this accident doesn't happen again to anyone, for that matter. But this is my opinion. I'd love to hear your feelings on this. Until next time, J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.